What is good with the YouTube? It is your boy, Sean Rock to the aka Lil Nicky V6, represent Mandatory Thrive, HGBM, because every day it is mandatory for us to thrive. And I'm back again with another video. And in this video, I want to talk about how we cannot afford it. And I'll explain and express what I really mean as I build the metaphor in the video. But I want to first start with an example of what this looks like. Two examples, actually. I'm a big boxing fan. I watch boxing all the time. Last night, I was watching the fight between Barrera and Andre Ward. And in the fight, Andre Ward used a parry to block a shot, right? And then he caught the punch and he jabbed the person, and the person came back with a hook on the other side, opposite side, and Andre Ward was able to catch the shot right here, right, and then come back with the hook of his own. And when you look at this sequence, you see that the energy used to block these punches was very, very subtle, along with the fact that the punches missed by very little. And then another example will be, of course, an example of Floyd Mayweather, who would typically poke his head out like this to get you to believe that he was available to be hit, right? And then when you would shoot your jab or shoot your cross, he would pull his head back just a few inches, right? And then he would come over the top with a pull, and then he would hit you with the right hand. James Toney, same thing. Twisting and turning at the torso, making shots fall short just by inches so that they can return fire. Now, what does this have to do with the concept of we can't afford it? All of our extras, in terms of our resources, in terms of our time, in terms of, our lives, our mindsets, those little increments is what we have to excel. And we can't afford it. What can we afford? We can't afford to utilize these things to submerge in our urges, to attempt to get someone to see, our value, right? To, fall short into a habit. Sometimes I would say, if I got $50, why save this $50? It's not going to do much, right? Because I want to save more, right? So then I'll squander the $50, not realizing that I can't afford it, and that little increment goes a long way, because bad is always stronger than good, right? So if you do the bad, which is spending the money, wasting the money, utilizing those little small increments, it's going to have a devastating effect. Prime example: what if Ward did not parry the shot, right? Parrying the shot was good. What if he didn't, catch this shot? Well, there's a possibility he could have been damaged. He could have been knocked out. He could say, well, I'm strong enough, I could take it on the chin, right? What if Mayweather didn't stick his head out, or the shot caught him and he didn't stick his head out, and he got hit with those shots. The bad always will outweigh the good. So what do I mean? We can't afford it, because when we choose to do the bad, it has a much more devastating effect on our journey versus the good. But those increments are very, very powerful. And instead of taking those increments to build something phenomenal and great, we take those increments and say, this is the time right here where I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm getting some cheeks tonight, right? I'm turning up. I'm getting drunk as fuck tonight. I done worked hard. And what we're not realizing is that those increments that we're giving up is keeping us away from the place that we want to be. And that's something that I've been processing and learning over time, because I've had different spaces and different times in my life and different seasons where I made decisions to move certain ways. Oh, I got $20. I ain't gonna save this $20. But saving that $20 is just like parrying that shot. Saving that $50 is like catching that hook, right? And fighting back and building on it is throwing the hook back. You can't afford it. You can't afford to give your time to people who do not value and see you in your totality. You can't afford to skip physical exercise, spiritual exercise, mental exercise. You can't afford it. It's too costly. You can't afford to not do that little increment of working on that project that you plan to release. You can't afford to get you a little, you know what I'm saying? You can't afford it. You have to delay gratification. You have to take the time to make the necessary sacrifices and submerge yourself into the most uncomfortable, tangible disciplines and efforts in order for you to exceed and excel. You know, this house, there's so many things that you could just see right in my proximity that we take for granted. Prime example, this shirt. This shirt is made out of cotton. It got ink, different things like that. My hair was lined up by some clippers that I have, right? This hat, this chair, this red light, this incense, those pictures. All of these things were created by someone who was making sacrifices in order to make society a better place, right? And if they didn't make those sacrifices, I wouldn't have these things. These things wouldn't be accessible to me. We all have that wiring in our system, but we can't. But we're squandering it. We're jacking our money off. We're taking our extra chicken, our extra coins, and we're trying to say, this is it. I've worked hard. I need this to get back. I need this to get back. We can't afford it. We simply cannot afford it. We can't afford to be the second or third choice to people. We can't afford to not be treated in the highest regard according to our character. Not what we look, how we look, or what we possess, but our character. Character matters. We can't afford to work hard for years and years and years and years and have nothing to show for it but experience. We can't afford to assimilate, right, with people who don't congratulate, but people who annihilate and only come around just to dictate. We can't afford it. We must be around people who have a mutual intention, who's willing to give as they take, who's willing to serve as they've been served. We can't afford it. You can't afford it. Neither can I. When I look at my life and I look at where I'm at in my journey, and I have a long way to go, and I look at how long it took for me to get to this place, how many sacrifices I've made and how many sacrifices I never would make, I realized that I always wasn't willing to pay the price. And still, there's many ways that I'm not willing to pay the price today. But I can't afford to not be willing to pay the price. So I'm actively, intentionally diving into myself internally and trying to find ways to maneuver around my inner turmoil, my inner quit, my desire to submerge myself in immediate dopamine release, immediate stimulation. Oh, I've trained 7 times this week. I worked 40 plus hours. I read, I journaled. Where's the sugar? Where's the drugs? Where's the sweet punani? Where's the fun? Not realizing I can't afford it. Neither can you. Because most of us is paying tabs for years. I mean, I can't even describe how much fun I done had in my life. Chasing. We can't afford it. I hope this video helps, man. Remember, dream big, work hard, live great, don't stop. It's your boy Sean Rock to the AKA Little Nicky, King Manly. I'm out. Peace.